are calling to order a regularly scheduled meeting of the Redevelopment Commission. Only thing different about tonight, it's on Thursday, it's in a different place. And with that, I'm going to get you to help me with the roll call.
Sharon Bryant, Jimmy Dillahunt,
Here.
Sarah Proctor,
Here.
Anna Morgan, Steve Strickland, Julius Parham,
Here.
Tabari Wallace,
Here.
Beth Walker,
Here.
Kit Paraguay,
Here.
and none of our ex officio officers are present.
But we do have a quorum.
We do have a quorum.
And I have been told that Commissioner Strickland is on the way.
Okay.
So, let us join him, let him join us. All right, the first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. This agenda was sent out to everyone. I hope you've had time to look at it. No changes have been made. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as it is? So moved. I have a motion. Maybe a second. 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 I have a motion and a second. I don't think we need any discussion about that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed say nay. And it stands that we will approve the agenda. Second thing, we're going to approve the meeting minutes. We have 2 sets of meeting minutes. They were also distributed earlier. We have a set of meeting minutes from January 10th and a set of minutes from January 27th. Are there any corrections or concerns about those meeting minutes? If there is none, can I get a motion to approve them?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of January 10th and January 27th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve both the meeting minutes from January 10th, January 27th, as they have been sent out to us. Any discussion on that? Well, let's get a roll call then. All in favor of approving the meeting minutes? Say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. The meeting minutes from both of those dates are approved. And now, we will, it's a little different. We have our mission statement in our packet tonight, as well as our guiding principles. And as y'all remember, we discussed at our strategic planning session that we really need to focus on our mission statement as we're moving forward. We have used our guiding principles to get us to the place where we are now. So, do I have a volunteer to read the the mission statement for us tonight?
The New Bern Redevelopment Commission, leading the way for our community transformation and improvement by directly addressing community needs in the vital areas of public health, infrastructure, housing, and economic development. The Commission is committed to an accountable, transparent, and publicly driven process.
Thank you, Commissioner Parham. I think we'll remind ourselves of those, the mission statement at every meeting, and we always have our guiding principles with us, but that's what we will focus on moving forward.
Good deal.
And Commissioner Strickland, we're glad you could join us. At this point in time on our agenda, we are at the place of public comment. Seeing no public here, I'm assuming there is no one else to share tonight. Has anyone been in touch with you, Seth?
Nope.
Okay. Then I guess we'll move on to our next agenda item, and that is the consideration of accepting the request to purchase for 808 Bern Street and 810 Bern Street. And if you remember, we heard the presentation from Mr. Sute, not really sure how to pronounce it, but about the 2 properties across the street that are really about the size of one normal building lot, and we voted to initiate the upset bid process, and Mr. Sute's bid was the highest bid, so now we're at the place we need to consider accepting his request to purchase and forward our agreement to the governing board for their approval. the governing board being the Board of Aldermen. Are there any questions about that?
Were there any conditions applied to this sale?
The conditions that were recommended were restrictions.
No junk cars, residential, single-family dwellings to begin construction within 12 months, and the beginning of construction is defined as a completed foundation. And in the event they fail to start construction within 12 months, the town will automatically reverts back to the development commission.
So pretty standard.
Yeah.
So I think when we made the resolution to initiate the upset bid process, we had attached those.
I thought so, but I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that they still stuck
Good
with
point.
it, went through that process.
Sure.
So they would carry through with the sale, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The resolution that, if this motion passes tonight, that will be signed by the chair, will set forth those restrictions as I just enumerated, and they will be attached to the quitclaim deed that would be recorded and on record, so those conditions are not tonight.
And that is with the approval of the Board of Aldermen.
Yes.
We're sending it to them for approval.
Yes, ma'am. So you all would accept the final bid. So this property, both 808 and 810 were advertised in the newspaper pursuant to the upset bid process. No upset bids were received. So if you're inclined to accept the gentleman's, I don't want to mispronounce his name, accept the gentleman's final offer, then you would accept the offer and you would ask the Board of Aldermen to approve the sale. Upon their approval of the sale, the officers for this commission will be able to execute all the closing documents, and we'll schedule a time for the gentleman to close on the property. And I anticipate we may be able to get board approval in the next 2 weeks. That's probably the most aggressive time frame that we could have, and he could close within the next 30 days conceivably.
I would love to see that happen. So we can move it that fast. Any other questions?
Deed, am I correct?
I'm sorry, sir?
There will be a warranty deed.
No, sir.
No,
Quick claim?
quick claim.
Okay, that's what I thought.
If there's no more questions, can I get a motion to consider accepting this request to purchase?
So moved.
I have a motion, and I think I heard a second at the same time. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion or any points you might like to bring up? Okay,
And just to be clear, Madam Chair, on the motion, was that the motion to accept the offers to purchase for 808 and 810?
Yes.
Okay. So was that your second, Mr. Warren?
Yes, sir.
so the purchase of 808 and 810, do we need to do a roll call or a voice vote?
I'm trying to remember what the rules of procedure say. I think you can do a voice vote.
Okay, let's go with that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Okay, and we are on to already item number 8, 608. Just want to say that. And that is our new business. And that is based on our strategic planning session. We have some proposals for the upcoming fiscal year 24-25 for consideration, discussion, and really, an interest of the commission of who would like to participate in the teams to make those proposals move forward into action. So the first one is the A Street project. Are you want to introduce those, or are you just moving on?
Actually, the Commissioner Kip Third has prepared some documents in your packet, and we actually everybody cross your fingers for technology. It showed up. So, Kip, if you, Commissioner Kirkwood, sorry, if you want to take us through, I'll be your clicker.
Okay. This was all handed out at the Strategic Planning Commission meeting that we had. So it's kind of be a rehash. The property on West A Street, we've had portions of it for quite a while, and then to make it a really nice piece of property, we requested that to get additional property from the city and the county, which we did in our request for 10 pieces of property 2 years ago, I guess. Or so, but it makes for a piece of property that's 236 feet of frontage on West A Street. The adjacent properties to the south of that are
Sorry. Next
flip
one.
onto the maps. There you go. Our single-family residential dwellings, I think 3 of them are actually habitat houses, and then there's a 2-story block house that's owned by, I think, Mrs. Rogers there next to us. Mrs. Rogers, if you recall, a couple meetings ago, we had to establish a property line along that with her, and we have documentation about the property line and the fact that she has no interest in the house that is really, really close to it, and that she has no objection to that house being demolished. There are existing on that property 3 houses that have to be demolished. I think we've authorized that a long time ago. There's 2 of them.
2.5.
Yeah, there's 2.5. One of them
burned down, didn't it?
One of them burnt down, and the one next to it was the city-county house.
Okay,
And that's the one with no roof and it's about to
Gotcha.
fall in and so forth.
Okay.
And then there's 2 houses on the original piece of property that we had. So we had gotten quotes a long time ago about demoing those houses. It just hadn't happened yet.
I do have some news in the staff report on to that effect, so I'll be talking a little bit about that in just a minute. But
So we have the property, and the objective is to create a piece of property that either we could build on, or we could entice a developer to build on. So to get it ready for either or in that situation, there are certain steps that we need to take. One is to research the title on the county property. We don't want to end up in a situation like we found ourselves recently, because there is no guarantee that title is good and wouldn't cause us problems. We have the opportunity to discuss to acquire another piece of property up adjacent to the railroad right away. A little triangular piece of property up there that allows us a little more freedom in lot layout, and also gives us the opportunity to create a vegetated buffer against the railroad.
Have you already talked to the railroad?
No.
Oh.
The railroad's not involved in this per se.
Okay, but you were talking about acquiring a piece.
Yeah, but it's an individual that owns it.
Oh, okay.
But what it will do is we can plant some bushes and trees on it and create a buffer against the railroad property.
Gotcha.
Need to get the property surveyed. We need to identify all the existing water and sewer taps along there, and so that we know how to deal with them. We need to have the houses demolished, and we need to get the site cleared. Because when we have a house demolished, we get the house demolished and hauled away. But on several of our properties, it's overgrown on the back property line especially, and you can't even tell how deep the property really is because of the junk, the brush that grows up. So you would need to clear the property entirely, get rid of all the undergrowth and so forth along all the property lines,
So you can really identify the property.
really identify the property, and for potential customers to really know what they're looking at. So that's another project that needs to be done. Again, we talked about our options. We can identify an outside developer to work on the site. We can develop lots and just sell the lots. And we could also with a housing partner, we can build homes for sale there. So that's the option we have. What I was fat fingering along the way was a budget. I had created a budget, but it didn't, I fat fingered a number and it didn't add up. But the things that we talked about, like title search, the property acquisition, surveying, demoing of the houses, and site clearing, we're looking close to $34,000 of investment to get all that work done, to make that site absolutely ready for sale to a developer or for us to work on. And so we have several layouts of different options there. One is with 40-foot wide lots, which is similar to what we're doing down on Walt Bellamy, and we get 6 lots there out of that configuration. And we also have a 35-foot wide plan that gives us 7 lots. So, that's our options to work with, and if, take those 6 lots and divide it into the $34,000, you're looking at $8,500 per lot investment on our part. The house has got to go anyhow. That's the biggest individual expense that we have, is the demoing of the houses. That number is $17,906, the way I figured it, and that includes $500 for each house for the asbestos assessment. And so that's what we're looking at. But that's the project that on A Street that's available for us to work with if we choose to go down that road.
So according to our rules and procedures, and you have to check me on this, but now that a project has been proposed, the commission would adopt that project as one that we're going to pursue and then form a project team that's going to be assigned to it.
Yes. So, and that, does that require a motion and a proposal to adopt it?
I would entertain a motion to establish a West A Street project group.
Okay.
And by doing so, and just so everybody's clear about adopting the project, this is a concept that will grow and evolve over time, but focusing the commission's efforts towards development on this street. Mr. Paragoy has laid out a beautiful overview, and I don't want people to feel like they're married necessarily to what Kip says today. It's a good plan, it may change. So I just want that to be in everybody's mind. But yes, your procedure at this juncture, if this is a development project that is a priority for the commission at this juncture, you can entertain a motion to establish a West A Street project group.
Okay. And I think, does anyone want to have more discussion? This isn't the first time we've seen this, and we've certainly worked on acquiring those lots and working towards getting the demolition. Go ahead.
I just have one question. Are we allowed to do like a row of townhouses in the redevelopment area? Because it says single family detached or duplexes, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, obviously without standing in front of it, I can't really tell, would it be way too long for one row of townhouses? But that just came to mind, like, is that a perfect place for townhouses?
Yeah, multifamily is allowed in that zoning district.
I do have one question if you finish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on that lot, will the city incur the price on cleaning it, or clearing it, or demo the houses, or that would be on the redevelopment commission?
I believe it would be on the redevelopment commission.
Yes.
Any lot improvements that we do, even if we use public services, which is generally the best price for the labor, will give us an invoice that we would use in our properties instruction line.
The city bid on most of them, correct? The city bid on them?
They do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
They do. And they usually are the low bidders.
Just for clarity, we don't actually put out everything for bid, but I do price check when I'm looking for services to make sure that I'm not throwing away public money.
Landscaping and those types of services, you don't have to bid.
But I hear what you're saying, you do due diligence to check prices around.
And if we don't get a warranty deed, or the people made aware of what a quick claim deed is, or we sell it to them saying quick claim deed, and they don't know what it is.
I understand what you're saying, I think that's why you included that in one of your, as one of the things we need to do to make it ready for somebody is to get it and do a title search on it.
Well, we got the property in two parcels. I think one of them was gifted to us, Jamie, of the 710 Trust or something like that.
Yes.
And I think there was research done there that it was acceptable property. The city-county parcel, we just got what kind of deed we get from them?
I don't recall.
But it's going to be, it's the same kind of deed that we got on 209 Bryant Street. And we know what happened there. So in order to avoid that, I think it would behoove us to do a title search on that piece of land we got from the city-county so that we don't go expending funds on a piece of property that don't cause us a headache.
And that was included in your budget?
Yeah, but it was included at $0.
Good on the team.
We got in-house work, right?
Yeah, some of it is. Yeah.
Some of it, okay.
That's my,
That doesn't answer your question, does it? Okay.
So you need a motion to accept A Street project, committee and project, is that correct?
Accept the project and establish a working.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. And we've had time for discussion. All in favor of adopting this as a project for the team, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion carries, and this would be a project that the redevelopment commission will undertake in this year.
And Madam Chair, in the spirit of being helpful, this might be an opportunity for those who are interested to express their interest in participating on this working group, so long as it's 4 or fewer people.
Okay?
I think Mr. Paragould might be interested.
I think you might be the team leader.
He's already in.
and so would I.
You would be interested in this?
Yes,
Okay.
Would
Well,
you-
Commissioner Dillon?
If the chair would like to be involved, yeah, as long as it's with her, it's 4 or less.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, I would love that. Would like you to be involved.
All right.
So those.
We have
so who
Commissioner
got-
Paraguay and Commissioner Dillahunt with Commissioner Walker as representing the chair.
Okay. We're going for that.
Okay.
Is Strickland, oh, you want to, okay, all right. First
Nice.
All right.
The second item that was discussed at our strategic planning session was maybe developing a team to work on the deed restrictions and covenants of projects in our area, meaning of property that we're, when people come to ask us for property, we have a standard of those things that are set in place, and maybe look into that. You want to add to that? Seth?
Commissioner Proctor brought it up at the strategic planning session, and earlier this week we chatted about it, and we're not really sure if it will get traction, but we wanted to present it if it was an interest for the commission to move forward with. Basically, really what, and you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, fact check me, but what the major concern was that in the past, all of our restrictions and covenants have had low to moderate income restrictions on the quitclaim deeds, and we wanted to just evaluate that and see if that was something that needed to necessarily be done every single time. So, anything to add? Have our represent it well.
Nope, that's correct. It just feels like we're, we own a lot of property in this area, and so if, it ends up at the end of our work, 65% of the area have to be low-income people, like it doesn't give it, you know what I mean? It doesn't give it any chance to sort of get better. So that was the thinking based on something Zeb said. So I don't know if it's like research and see what other places do. I don't know what the commission would do, but I don't know that we should keep going forward and as always adding that to the deeds.
Yeah, and I guess it's similar to when some of the developers used to eliminate public housing. They will build more, but only a percentage would go to low income, and the other percentage would go to anybody that want to do it. So it would be a big group of people. It wouldn't all be just confined to low income. So that's a thought. I see what you're talking about there.
What you might do, Madam Chair and Commissioners, is you might give staff direction to do some research with other redevelopment commissions that have similar demographics and other similarities, to bring some guidance back to you all about what other communities are doing in redevelopment. And if there are other housing experts, let's just say, who might have some good thinking on that topic, you can have that to reflect upon. You may not necessarily need to have a group of commissioners to meet about it at this juncture, but I'm certain that Mr. could mine that information and present it back to you. I like it.
I
All
see
right.
so many shaking heads while you guys are giving me direction. It's like full participation when he's giving me direction.
The executive director will be the team captain there.
All right.
All right.
Zeb, I'll work with you on that.
Awesome.
I would just do research on my phone in the middle of the night when I can't sleep, so you don't want me to do that research. You want to talk to people and do real research.
Okay.
I mean, the concept of why we've been doing restrictions is we're trying to eliminate the things that cause blight in the community. Junk cars, I mean, how many meetings have we spent talking about junk cars and things like that? And I could really see a laundry list of options of different restrictions based on that we pick and choose, independent of each individual property by location and other things that might exist. So it's again, that's the whole, what started all this was, if we're gonna fight blight, then we need to have a way to do it.
And I might be wrong, Sister Tim might help me, but I guess sometimes we need to go back and look at some of the ordinances that are on the city book. There may be some things on the city book that are already there based on properties and managing properties that we're not aware of that could help us do these things that we don't even have to create. They're just there. But then again, it's like, okay, does the city have enough staff to manage all of these ordinances in terms of housing, codes, all that kind of good stuff? I mean, wouldn't there be some other things already on the book you would think?
I mean, as far as abatements and stuff like that, I mean, if there's issues like that, but like certain abandoned vehicles and there's certain requirements not to have them in certain locations,
Yeah.
But I think what you all normally do is you can't have them. I think you're a little bit more restricted.
Okay.
Usually, from my understanding, what you all put in place.
Because our restrictions are put in place before you go into the property. Okay. Okay.
So that's up front.
That's up front. Right.
You know,
As
do it with
we're-
that knowledge.
Yeah.
Like you said, Commissioner Barry, whereas we're trying to obliterate blight or challenge that, we want things to be built. We want things to be done, and so we're asking for that. But I hear what you say about, do we need that it always be low to moderate income, or could it be mixed income?
And who polices this stuff anyway? Like, who polices if somebody does store junk cars on our property?
You can. The covenants that run with your deeds are enforceable by the Redevelopment Commission and/or its successor.
Something to remember. All right. So the next project proposal that we've talked about And I'm not sure if Commissioner Dillahunt is wanting to present at this meeting or at the next meeting, but you asked to present on the on a First Avenue project.
Okay, on the First Avenue, I think everybody has been there on the north end. I think the city has about how many lots on the north end, do you know right now?
I know the Redevelopment Commission owns a
Well, that's
large,
what I meant, the redevelopment commission.
there's a large parcel that takes up probably, I don't want to say anything wrong, but a large section of the block, and then one more section.
Yes. We are.
We're gonna get the map, Mr. Dillahunt, so that we can illustrate what you're talking about.
When you say north, is that where
The north,
Mr.
it's
Coleman?
right off of Cedar Street.
Yeah, where Mr. Coleman house is up, that burned down? Okay, all right, okay.
And that's in work in progress. A lot of information has to be gathered before I can really speculate on
What to do with it?
that. I know what we want to do with it.
Right.
I know what I can envision. But I think it will be a lot of twists and turns, very interesting.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Hubbard, if you could zoom in
Yeah.
to that Second Avenue, First Avenue section.
Almost there. There we go.
There we go. That
So-
box in yellow, Mr. Dillahunt, is, I think, one of the lots that you're referring to that's owned by the Redevelopment Commission. And then there's a large rectangle immediately to the
And
north.
where is Cedar Street?
Cedar Street is to the north,
Up top.
Right there.
Right there.
right there,
Okay,
Cedar.
Cedar Street.
And if you go 3 lots to the south, or 4 lots to the south, that's what begins the Redevelopment Commission's property.
Oh, that is a big lot.
Yeah, the tract on First Ave combined with the tract on Second Ave represents some of the largest land mass that's combined that we're going to be interested in.
Oh, okay. So there's a bunch of lots on Second Avenue. Well,
Some
it's
of
small
them-
lots, yeah.
Some of them go through from First Avenue to Second Avenue.
Yes. Sorry.
So, Mr. Dillahunt, I think what you're trying to illustrate is that the Redevelopment Commission owns just about that full block,
Absolutely.
except three lots to the north.
From Cedar Street to Elm Street,
Just about, yes, sir.
yes.
Okay.
Save 3 lots.
So, are you suggesting that we take any action this evening, or are you wanting to do more further study so that you can bring a project
I
to
need
the
to do
commission at a
further
later
study
date?
and find out some of the owners and see if they're interested in selling them. Beginning from Cedar Street, going all the way to Elm Street, and there's a lot of underbrush, and find out where our property lines are. And I think maybe that's something we need to undertake, get some bids, so we can see how far it go back, and see how many houses can be put there. And we go there, you get a bad feeling when you go down First Avenue anyway. Don't get that feeling. I think about what can be there, and saying that, it may enhance the neighborhood, and I think it'll clean up from all the way from Cedar Street to Broad Street. A lot of work needs to be done. And I just don't want to say, okay, Third Avenue has been greatly improved. We want First and Second to have that same look. But maybe when you approach it, you don't call it a dump. Making a short word. So anything can be improved, put a little effort put behind it. So maybe I can bring that to the next meeting with more plans and with more information that I can share with the board. And I know it doesn't sound possible, but anything is possible.
Okay.
I'm happy to help you with any research. Just
Yeah, I will be calling on you and see what the city can do.
sure.
So we'll table that if it's okay to the next meeting. maybe I have some more information, or maybe I have some more handouts.
I think that's a good idea. Appreciate you bringing this up for discussion tonight.
Yeah, and we consider that, okay, it can never be developed. They said the same thing about Duffield. I think Duffield is part of that plan.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about free money, what we can get. We want some of the ideas besides my ideas. We want everybody to think about what can we put there.
Absolutely.
It's an eyesore from Broad Street to City Street.
No, I think that's our focus as the redevelopment commission, so I appreciate you bringing it up.
Okay. Anything else on that?
We look forward to hearing what you and Zeb can put together before our next meeting.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
I think our last project proposal of record tonight will be given by Commissioner Jabari Wallace.
I will get your map pulled up next.
Yeah, I'm glad you got some maps, because I didn't want to go after Kip went. All his presentation, I know you doing all that. We might have met earlier today, Zeb, to get it in, so I can have pictures and pictorials and everything else too, but,
And some crayons.
yeah, it's great. The 8 box, not 145. But, Bloomfield property, it's been spinning since we toured that. And we spoke with the community at a community forum, had all 3 groups there. And I got a picture if y'all want. See, I would have been awesome for the presentation. It should have been up there. But I got a picture if y'all want of the community giving us a thumbs up and trying to be proactive instead of coming up with an idea, doing things here, then going to the community with it, hearing something. Then I got
What 3 groups?
People Simple, Phoenix Group, and Duffield Racing Council.
Okay.
Right? And they all were in agreement. They all were ecstatic that we suggested pivoting from the original plan for the Bloomfield Street to actual duplexes. And in my articulation with Zeb and some brainstorming that we did, we think we can get 2 to 3 on that property on the Bloomfield Street. Okay? And I just wanted permission to develop a work group so we can look at that. And I know I spoke with some of you, but I think we could walk and chew gum at the same time. We could be working on Kip's plan as well as the Bloomfield property. This is quick turnaround, y'all, from my understanding. If we get it going, it's kind of a quick turnaround. But that will satisfy something that, an albatross that's been just hanging out over our neck for the last year. And go ahead and get something over there. But it's new. As we said before, when we tore it down, it would have cost more to fix it up, and then that's just one house. But now we're going to have probably 6 dwellings over that property. I'm also going to investigate. There's a dwelling on the end, on the other side over there, and I can't get a straight idea if somebody's living there or if they're going in there and this and that, and I just wanted to investigate it just to see what the situation is there. Because if that is acquired, or we can do something with that, we just open it up to maybe even 4 or 5 to 6. And that we have just revitalized the whole block.
That's a whole block.
As Mr. Dillahunt is trying to do over on the 3rd Avenue. And being that if, an investor with matching funds or however we do it, it's doable from my understanding. So, I mean, this is tangible things. Can you imagine that, ribbon cutting? Now, that's the true charge of what we do. I mean, it is beautiful doing something like that. So I just wanted permission, and hopefully, Steve, be with me on this one.
So moved.
On the work group that's been established, and maybe one other. So, but I just wanted permission to do that. Did they cover it all? Did I get it all?
Yeah, I would just follow up with our conversation based on the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency would be interested in something like this that would be geared towards low to moderate income housing with their home grant. So I'm actually heading to Raleigh tomorrow. Don't call me tomorrow. I'll be on the road. And to start conversations with them to see what other projects they might be willing to fund and how much funding. I'm also talking to a colleague of Commissioner Strickland tomorrow morning in Greenville to look at workforce housing funding as well. So several funding options that we have on top of the proceeds from the sale of the Walt Bellamy development, so that it is realistic to, as Commissioner Wallace said, walk and chew gum at the same time. We can do multiple projects at the same time, and we'll work to get them all funded. So,
Man, I appreciate you having that meeting, because it keeps down some noise.
I've learned over the years.
So, yeah. Learned over the last 3 months.
We gonna get, you got that right. We gonna get a thumbs up. They took a picture. The whole crew put their thumbs up like that, and I took a picture just in case. So when we left there, everything changed. We were good.
Okay, sorry.
So I got receipts.
Good deal.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You talking about the land on the other side of this, then the yellow apartments,
No, across from that,
Across the
where
street.
the Makata House used to be. Like you got the yellow apartments, and right in front of the yellow apartments, Makata House used to stand.
right?
There's that land right there. The Makata House is going. There's a trailer in front of
Okay,
on Main Street. And then on the other side, there's another dwelling, but I'm unsure what's, but I'm investigating. But that whole swath, not the trailer at the front, but that whole swath, if we can acquire it, we can get up to 5, 6, but if we can't, we still can do good.
now, is it a flood elevation?
We have to bring in some field. It's not the field that some of these other properties we have, we'll probably spend $30,000, $40,000 in the field, but my understanding, it's a piece of it that's low, we have to fill, so.
Okay.
So it will be moderate funding for the filling, but it's just something we have to do to bring that piece up so it's level, so when we build.
But how many pieces are there where you don't have to do no field? Approximately.
we'll know more as the project team takes form, if you all adopt this as a project to pursue. And definitely, I anticipate each of the project teams will report back to the commission with details, and at that time it'll be appropriate to ask specific questions, because we'll have actual data to share with the commission at that point. Right now we just have conjecture, and rather than spending the commission's time on guessing, we should probably look to adopt the project team.
Well, if you go in the system and pull that little piece of land up and go to layers and pull up the North Carolina DOT contours, you can figure out.
Plus flood zone.
Yeah.
Right.
For the hospital?
Yeah, it's all been done.
That's how we know that most of it's good, but once you start moving farther back.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't do that going further back. Okay.
Okay.
It is, I know what you're saying, Jim. It is low on the other side where that dwelling is. I know exactly what you're talking about, because it goes down.
Go downhill.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. So, yeah, it'll be more if we did get that, but it'll be worth it. Trust me.
But step one at this juncture is to determine whether it's the pleasure of the commission to establish a project group for the Bloomfield Street potential development.
And to move forward with some of those ideas of
Research.
research.
Exploration,
Mhm.
what's the plan?
I'll move to form the Bloomfield Projects Committee.
We have a
Group,
motion.
team, whatever we're calling them.
Team and project. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Did you have something to add? No? Council, okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. And the motion carries. So we'll have another team one for First Avenue and then one for Bloomfield Street development.
And at this juncture, you can entertain volunteers to serve on the Bloomfield
Who
Street.
would like to join Commissioner Wallace on this team?
So let me, he just said strictly along.
Steve got an appointment. He was appointed to the team.
Steve, you would like to? Someone want to
Sure.
Okay, Commissioner Strickland, Commissioner Wallace.
Anybody else?
Anybody else interested in joining in?
Building is one of my passions, so if you got enough room, I'm willing to work with you on that.
We'll take you, Jim.
You know,
Absolutely.
All right.
If you still got people, you just don't have enough people, I'll sneak on.
Thank you, man. Thank
Keep
you.
up.
We'll see what your mind is when you get back off your trip.
Yeah, really. Right now, though, I'd love to know what's going on and be part of that, because we've done a lot of work on that live.
We have. We
Done a
have.
lot of work on that.
Long overdue.
All right,
That's another question. I don't know when it's the time for me to bring that up or not.
well, we're in the new business, so,
Okay, HUD have had a program and they have given away about $4 million from not pursuing the program that they had. And the way that worked, they would find a buyer, they would pre-qualify the person for that loan. They were working along with a couple of banks. And I don't know whether they still have it or not. I don't want to step out of my lane as far as investigating it. But I think that may be something to see, do they have funds, or could they get funds that pre-qualify people for some of the houses that we're talking about building? And when they pre-qualify folks for the houses, they got to take so many hours in classwork and to have a good job, inheritance, what you may have. But, and also know some other organizations that have had, I don't know whether they still have it or not, but that would be something for us to look into.
absolutely.
And,
And Mr. Huff, I
And that's
believe
coming
looked
through
into some of
HUD.
these.
I don't know whether they can work with HUD as for pre-qualifying folks to buy houses or not.
So to be clear, we're not a federal HUD
Yeah, I know that.
organization. So we could probably be a sub-recipient of HUD funding, but as far as being a HUD organization, those two agencies are specifically named in our locale. That's the Twin Rivers Opportunities and the Housing Authority. So if there's research I haven't done, I'm happy to entertain that with you. And any of you can call me anytime, and I'm happy to spend as much time as you want outside of the office.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. The person that they pre-qualify, they could go anywhere and buy a house once they go through this class. It doesn't have to be, could be a house in Mars, on Mars. Anywhere they can find a house, they already pre-qualified to buy that house. I don't know if anybody here heard about that program or not, but I know it was a program they had. So, if I can check on it without no objections,
Please do.
Yep.
I can check on it, bring that information back,
Yes, sir.
and we'll see if they're interested in getting people pre-qualified. And they also had a bank that would help pre-qualify the person to buy certain houses. So I can check on that if it's okay, and maybe bring this back to the next meeting we have.
Please,
Please,
please.
by all means.
Yeah, and I understand you saying that I connect with HUD, I understand that quite well.
Yeah.
Along that, excuse me, Madam Chairman, along that line, programs, somewhere down the line, and I don't know, is there help, you might have already started doing this, but out of the retreat we had, the gentleman, I can't remember his name,
Reginald Barton.
Reginald Barton, he brought a lot of different funding agencies. Have we begun to look where we can go with those, or do we need to? I mean, I hate for the gentleman to come and give us ideas, we'll follow with them. Okay, so you take care of that. You got ideas coming down the line.
I mean, yes, and there's always more. There's always
Okay.
more to do. And as you and I discussed, you know, having Mr. Barner come back and work with us in a teams-based forum, or
Okay.
bringing him into projects to consult and those kinds of things. You all certainly have professional service funds in your budget that you could do that with if you chose to do so.
Yeah, well, I know
And
personally,
I
I
would
don't-
imagine that is part of the development for the research and planning for both of these projects that we've.
Absolutely.
yeah, I just don't want to
Tonight.
lose the idea that we have opportunity and we don't follow up.
I appreciate you bringing that up.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay.
And how about bankers? I mean, you know folks that whatever bank, they say if you can get a person qualified they can buy a house of their choice.
Mhm.
I've seen that situation work.
Absolutely.
If you know any bankers.
Yeah.
So, if it's okay, we talk to some bankers, I look into that.
Sure. Appreciate it. All right, thank you. I believe we're moving on to our agenda item number 9, which is our staff report.
All right, I'll be super quick unless you all want me to be super long.
Super quick.
Wall building is coming along. I have a pretty high authority that will be ready for market, however that looks by the end of March. What came in, and I have copies of for any of you to review that you'd like, and I can certainly email these to you. This past week was the appraisal for each of the units. I'm happy to report that each of the houses came in above $160,000. So they're well built, good specs, and I anticipate that the commission will be able to turn those projects around into a healthy profit, so that we can keep on doing work and keep on pushing things down the line. So,
You say they're afraid for how much?
above 160. And again, I'm happy to send them to you, and you can look through them in detail. These are public documents. So, that's one. The Eubanks house continues. We're continuing to work with trying to find strategic partners for the Eubanks house, but we're getting to some resolution there. The Public Works reached out to me this week, and demolition on the West A Street houses has been scheduled for preliminary date of April 1st. And I will let everyone around the table take a deep breath of relief, because the monies that you budgeted out of our fund balance to do that demolition won't have to come out of our fund balance, because April 1st, CDBG will take care of the cost of demolition on West A Street.
Yes.
After I got off the phone with George, the new fire chief called me and asked me, before we demolish those properties, could we allow the fire department to go in and do some training if they are sound enough? And I said I wasn't qualified to answer that by myself, but I would take it to the commission tonight and see if you all had any objections to allowing the fire department to utilize them for training before they're demolished.
They insured. I'm asking, are they under our insurance policy?
Yeah.
Like, are they owned?
Yeah.
Are they owned by us?
They're owned by the commission.
So
They're owned by
And they're under our insurance
They're under
policy.
our insurance.
You need a motion for that, how do we stand?
Direction.
Just direction.
Let them burn it down.
No, don't let them burn it down. It's too close to the house.
That is what they're asking,
What, to burn it down?
to use it for fire training, one of them.
Correct.
Right, yeah, that's what the training is.
But again, thank you. You gotta remember, the training is gonna be good to get it down. Plus, the training helps them protect the house that's closest to it, so it's training.
I did talk to Jim McConnell, just to assuage your fear. I did talk to Jim McConnell today, and the one house is, they usually like a 50-foot clearance. The one house that's that's closest to the smallest house, not 914, the next one over, is only 30-foot clearance, and so they would actually have to have that neighbor sign a waiver before they were able to do that. So they have internal rules that guide them as well. So they're just wondering if we have any misgivings about them using the houses to train. They all have brush.
Yeah.
I think any house that the fire department will have anything to do with, it should be a good to go. Should be a good.
So
Some
Melissa,
concerns, seems some positive what's the direction we would like to give?
I mean, head shaking works, and I can move on. Burn it down. Okay. I got chants and lots of smiles. I'll take that as direction. The final piece of paper in your package tonight is just a preliminary budget. I want to point out a little bit of a difference in the budget as it's given tonight as opposed to how it's been given in the past. There are actually two organizations listed. There is Redevelopment 111-7030, which means nothing to anybody outside of finance. That is the city's account for staffing. And then there is the 211-7030, and that is the Redevelopment Commission's fund balance specifically for property. So the membership dues and things such as professional development, travel, uniform, supplies and purchasing, and those kinds of things, those will all come out of the 111-7030, which is the staff account. And then things such as professional fees, utilities, keeping up the landscaping, and those kinds of things, which is traditionally what has been tracked for redevelopment costs, will come out of the general fund, the fund balance for the Redevelopment Commission. So just wanted to give that little clarification, put this in front of your eyes before I send it on to the alder people, the governing board, on February 26th, I believe it goes to them in draft form. It'll all be in front of you all again for adoption, but I wanted to make sure that you had these numbers to kind of look at, peruse, process, call me about, and discuss, because I never want to do anything in a silo. Because everything I do, I'm doing on your behalf, so.
We appreciate you.
All right. With that, Madam Chair, I believe does it for my staff report, unless anyone has questions.
Okay, well, agenda item number 10 is to go into closed session.
Yes, ma'am. Pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute, Chapter 143, 318, 11A5, to discuss the potential acquisition of real property.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And motion carries. We'll go into closed session.
Hey, Julie. Oh, no.
What?
Sarah.
Okay. Last agenda item is to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Just in case. No. Okay. Meeting's adjourned.